result confirmed, but it's clearly not a great night for the Liberal Democrats. It's been an election which we always knew was going to be a tough election a year into the coalition government in a very difficult financial context, and that's certainly what we're seeing in the results that have been coming through so far, and what we're thinking in some of the results yet to be declared will be the case as well. And that's obviously a real shame for many of these people who have been excellent representatives for their constituencies, worked incredibly hard, and I think that it's not a judgment on whether or not these people have been good constituency MSPs, but I think it's part of a wider feeling and message that people are sending, and certainly we need to listen closely to what people are saying.
Bill Aitken, we haven't had a chance to get your reaction to Eastwood. I mean, that must be a shock.
It's disappointing, but it's not a shock. As I say, I did a considerable amount of canvassing there at the last general election. There's a very firm Labour vote. It's an area of very high public sector employment.
But that was a fairly hefty notional majority, at least, that you had.
Well, the Labour Party won it in the general election, as I recollect, the majority in excess of 10,000. Now, 6,000 electors were taken out from Barrhead. Now, they didn't always vote Labour. So even in the new constituency, there was a substantial Labour majority. So, realistically, whilst I may have hoped that we would win that, I do have to recognise that it was always going to be a pretty big ask.
Now, we saw photographs there, and there she is again, Nicola Sturgeon, looking relieved and happy there. It looks as if she has a good result from her point of view in Glasgow Southside, and we're continuing to wait for that crucial vote in Haddington. Let me introduce another member of our panel, Margaret Curran. Thank you very much for joining us, former MSP, now an MP at Westminster. Margaret, I mean, it's a desperate night so far for Labour, isn't it?
Well, we've certainly lost some very substantial MSPs who've made an enormous contribution to Scotland and to Scottish politics, and I hope they'll continue to play a role in Scottish politics, and that's very significant for Labour. We've got some thinking to do. Having looked at the results as far as I've seen them so far, it does seem to be a very significant shift in the Liberal Democrat vote. I think our percentage share of the vote has gone down slightly, but it's not, it's still very significant.
The key question is, why has that vote gone to the SNP and not to you, though?
Well, you see, what's interesting is we'll need to see what the results in the list, because I think the Scottish electorate does understand two things. One, it understands votes at Westminster in elections is very different from votes in the Scottish Parliament. People now vote differentially, quite comfortably vote differentially. They want I would think a number of Scottish voters want a Labour government at Westminster.